welcome back to my channel. My name is Erika for those of you who don't know me, and today we're going to be doing a little bit of a different video, and this is going to be a review of the Oura ring. As someone who has been religiously wearing her Oura ring for 3 years now, we are going to be doing a deep dive into this little guy and see if it's a worthwhile product, my thoughts and my personal experience over the last 3 years, what I've found to be pros and cons of the Oura ring. What is an Oura ring? An Oura ring is a smart ring that can monitor a wide range of biometrics for fitness, for stress, for sleep, and for your overall health. They claim that they can give you a better insight into your own body and how your biometrics are trending over time. What is a readiness score? A readiness score is supposed to determine if you're ready to tackle the day or if there are enough biometrics that are off from your usual trends that can suggest you should be more mindful to prioritize rest instead. You also get a sleep score, and I should mention that both scores are out of 100. And similarly to the readiness score, it looks at your sleep cycle, your heart rate, and other measures throughout your sleep in order to give you a score that determines how well you slept the night before. These are the two main features that Oura ring offered 3 years ago, and since then has expanded to include things like stress management and resilience. Why was I drawn to the Oura ring? I personally love data. I love analyzing data and trends over time. That's just part of my personality, and having yet another smart tracker that would be more comfortable to wear to sleep other than the smartwatch is something that honestly tickled my fancy. I was intrigued by this, but I wasn't so sure, just because I'm like, do I really need another fitness tracker, another data tracker? But I think the reason that really pushed me over to get the Oura ring was because they actually developed a partnership with Natural Cycles. So once they started that partnership with Natural Cycles, that was the reason that I actually pulled the plug and got the Oura ring. And if you guys are interested to know more about Natural Cycles, honestly, that would be a whole video in itself. So now that I've gone a little bit over what an Oura ring is, why I was drawn to the Oura ring, let's go ahead and jump into pricing. In terms of pricing, currently there are 2 generations of the ring, the Oura ring Gen 3 and the Oura ring Gen 4. I personally got the ring a long time ago, so I have the Oura ring Gen 3 in silver, and I paid a total of $300 plus an additional extended service contract for 2 years. The Gen 4 currently runs for $350 for the silver and black, jumps up to $400 for brushed silver, stealth, and jumps up to $500 for gold and rose gold. I personally also got a coupon for an exclusive offer to not pay my Oura ring membership for 6 months, and then after that 6 months I've been paying $6.21 a month. I personally had a very seamless customer service experience, and what happens first is that they offer to send you a sizing kit, or for you to find a sizing kit at a store nearby, and they have these plastic rings that you can try on because it does need to fit your specific hand. We all have different size hands and widths for our fingers. So I personally have the size 8. And I got the sizing kit sent to me, and they're just plastic rings in all sizes possible. You put it on and you are meant to ideally wear it for a few days, because if you did not know, your body naturally fluctuates and your fingers do swell throughout the day. What they do suggest is that they actually want your ring to fit snug but not too tight, which is why they recommend that you wear it for a few days throughout the entire day to make sure that you're getting the size that best works for you. And therefore it should be something that you're able to wear even if it's a teeny bit loose or a teeny bit tight. My size 8 actually fits on these 4 fingers, and so I usually tend to trade between all 4 fingers, but most of the time I do put it on my middle fingers. I think that's just where it looks the best on my hand, and that's usually where I just don't even feel it. Now that we've covered pricing, membership, and the Oura purchasing experience, let's go over my pros and cons over the last 3 years. So my pro number 1 is the cycles tracking and the partnership with Natural Cycles, because I'm able to monitor my body throughout my entire cycle at a way more deep and intimate level based on my temperature. I just have learned so much more about my own body and how it runs, and I've been better able to take care of my health and being able to track my exercise based on my cycle and more cycle tracking to my life. Next pro is the data and the sleep. I really do think that it is the most accurate sleep tracker that I've ever had. My phone tells me about when I was asleep and when I was awake. If I happen to wear my watch, then it's a little bit more accurate, but again, I don't really like wearing my bulky watch to sleep. The ring, I was skeptical at first. I'm not gonna lie to you, I was skeptical, but after wearing it for this long, I really do think it is super accurate. One example that I'll give you is that any single time that I remember a dream, I apparently am waking up directly from my REM stage. At first I was like, oh, that's probably a coincidence. Now that it's been 3 years, I'm like, there's no coincidence. I'm able to remember the dream that I just had because I woke up directly from my REM cycle. Because if I ever wake up from a light sleep or from my deep sleep, I'm like, oh, I must have not dreamt that night, even though that's not possible. I did dream, I just don't remember them. The other thing that I think is really good at doing is just tracking my movement throughout the night. Even if I take a nap in the middle of the day, it always asks me, like, hey, did you take a 37-minute nap today? Because I think you did. I don't know the software behind how it's doing it, but it does it and it works really good in my experience. And one more thing that I would love to mention is that it is super lightweight, not too thick. I hardly ever notice that I'm wearing it, and so therefore I don't have any issues sleeping with it. The next pro that I have is the ability that it has to track my resilience and my stress management. So Oura, throughout the day in approximately 15-minute intervals, will measure something about your body. Again, I'm no tech expert about what it's doing behind the scenes. I'm just telling you what I see as the user using it. So it will rank you and it will place you every 15 minutes into one of 4 categories. You're either restored, relaxed, engaged, or stressed. And sometimes I completely agree with where it puts me. Say I might have gone to a concert and I'm singing, I'm dancing, like my body is experiencing psychological stress, even though it's like a good thing and a great stressful moment that I'm having because I'm having so much fun. My body is inherently experiencing psychological stress, and so it will put me in the stress category. Sometimes I think I should be relaxed or restored, yet my ring is putting me in the stressful category. If my ring feels as though I'm experiencing psychological stress, then even though if I'm not cognitively aware of what my stress is, it gives me a moment to take a moment and breathe. It just reminds me that my heart rate might be a little bit too elevated even though I'm sitting down. It reminds me that my anxiety and my mind might be spiraling and I might not be registering that is creating stress in my body. And so it's really allowed me the opportunity to think and reflect about what I'm feeling, what I'm thinking, and to connect with my body once again. The one that I definitely agree with where it always places me is when I'm engaged. Because engaged, obviously your body is not stressed out, but I'm focused. I'll realize, oh, I actually was like super into what I was doing at work. I was super into this task that I was doing. So I wasn't stressed, but I was very much engaged. And other times I totally agree when it puts me in restored. I might have had a really slow morning. I might have, taken an extra long shower. I might be winding down for bed. I might be reading. I might be just on the couch watching TV, and it's putting me in that restored category, and I completely agree. And so it has been really helpful for me to tune back into my body. And I think this is really important to mention and a really cool feature that they've added, just because, as we all know, chronic stress is very harmful on the body and something that we want to find ways to minimize. So just knowing that my body might be experiencing psychological stress that I can't really cognitively recognize, I'm like, okay, like clearly I'm feeling something, I'm experiencing something, like let me connect back with my body so I can try to reduce that stress that I'm experiencing. The next pro that I have about the Oura Ring is actually the activity score. As I already mentioned and you already saw, I wear a smartwatch, and the primary utility of my smartwatch is to track my exercise. I just put whatever exercise I'm doing and it starts tracking it for me. What I didn't anticipate liking so much is the Oura Ring's ability to also track my activity, because it is so precise and so accurate. It picks up on more movement throughout my day than I'm even giving myself credit for. If I take just a short 10-minute walk, you know, the Apple Watch will start to pick up on your walk after 15 or 20 minutes, and that's if it wasn't sporadic. Maybe I took like a 5-minute walk and then I rested, and then I did another 5-minute walk and then I rested. It's never gonna pick up on that activity, but the ring actually will. And I think this is really cool because it's of how precise it is. Another activity that it gives me credit for is just doing my chores. It'll be like, hey, did you do 30 minutes of housework? I'm like, oh yeah, I did. I went, I put my laundry in, I got it out. I was actively putting my laundry away, and then I, you know, was vacuuming or whatever I was doing. It picks up on these more subtle movement that I do throughout my day that I think can be more insightful, because even just stretching for 5 minutes is considered movement, and that is something that has been really cool, how precise it is at monitoring those small activities that I do throughout my day. The last pro that I have for the Oura Ring is just the app itself, which of course a lot of you might say this better be the most amazing app if you're paying $6 a month for it. And I do understand what you're saying, but I will give credit where credit is due, and they do have a really great seamless app. I will pop up on here just a little bit of what that app looks like, just selecting through different tabs and my activity score, my sleep score, my readiness score, just so you kind of get a better idea of what the app looks like. But I will say they have been continuously improving this app. They've kept adding new features, and these are things that we might not get if we didn't pay for the monthly membership. They have exercises that you can do on the Oura Ring. Sometimes it'll be like, hey, I think you're a little bit stressed. Do you want to listen to this 5-minute meditation or this 10-minute breath work? It reminds me to do these things, and just the fact that it's built into the app makes it so much more convenient. I can just click on the Oura app and it will guide me through that. So I really think that having the app be as seamless, as clean, and with as many features as they do have on there, it's definitely worth the money. So this is a pro for me that I didn't expect, because usually I don't really love a lot of apps that are out nowadays. I just get annoyed that everything has an app. This is something that deserves an app. And also, if you think about it, where else would you find all the information that this is holding, right? Like, there's no screen on this. Just having the seamless connectivity from my ring to the app, it really just shows me all of the data that it's been collecting. It also provides a lot of graphs and charts that I can review to see my trends over time. They will automatically do that for you every quarter and every year, just so you can see how you did with your Oura throughout the year. But you can always click on them yourself if you are curious to see how you're doing. Another thing that the app also does really well is that because it's gathering so many biometrics, it can also predict if you're going to be sick, because it's saying, hey, your temperature is elevated, your heart rate's elevated, are you feeling okay? Then it also has a rest mode that you can put the app in, and then it's more tailored to rest and relaxation and actually getting better. So this is an app that I check every single day, and therefore worth my money. So we talked about the pros of the ring. There are a few cons that I think I should mention as well. The first con that I have is actually the battery life. So let's talk about it. The battery life is technically excellent. It goes about a week holding its whole charge. That honestly is a pro and a con for me, because it is something that I have to remember to charge. My watch, my phone, I pop them on my stands and they start wirelessly charging away throughout the night. I never have to think about charging my phone. I never have to think about charging my watch, because the Oura Ring has a specific charge that has to fit this ring, and it can only fit this ring. I only have one charger for it. The battery life, even though it's amazing and it lasts so long, it really is a con for me, because I have to continuously remember to charge it, or I have to remember to bring my charger just in case. The second reason that it's a con for me is because after about 2.5 years, so about 6 months ago, I actually ended up having issues with the battery life of my ring. I went from having to charge it approximately once a week to having to charge it every single day. Every single day I was charging my ring. It started to really annoy me. I contacted Oura. They were actually like, hey, look, your extended warranty expired already. However, you know, we value you as a customer. We're gonna go ahead and give you $100 off a completely new ring, or we will send you a new refurbished Generation 3. And so I took the free ring, completely free of charge. I didn't pay for shipping. I didn't pay for anything. I didn't even have to return my old ring, even though it's completely useless to me now. They just gave me a brand new ring. Sure, it's refurbished, but I have had zero problems over the last 6 months. Battery life is amazing. Connectivity and issuing a new ring, deleting my old ring data and uploading a new ring to the app, also a completely seamless transition. This is why battery life is a con for me, because of course eventually battery life will diminish and you don't really have another option but to purchase a new ring. The next con on my list will just be regular wear and tear. And I don't know if this one's on me, but let's be honest, your ring is going to get scratched. I remember being super careful when I first got my ring. I didn't want it to get scratched. I would take it off to go weightlifting. I would take it off to shower. I would take it off to like wash my hands. And then I got to the point where I'm like, this is ridiculous. If I'm supposed to be wearing this ring all the time, then fuck it. I'm just gonna keep it on. I just don't even care if it gets scratched. And then the first couple scratches happened and they're really not that bad. I'll go ahead and insert some close-up footage of what my ring looks like. But again, you know, this one I've only had for 6 months, so this one has only a few scratches. I heard that the silver is the best one for scratches because you really can't see any of the scratches that happen unless you're really looking for them. No one wants something to just have to be scratched eventually if I want to wear it all the time. And the last con that I have for the Oura ring is the readiness score. I'm gonna be fully honest with you, this daily score is something that I just don't even know if they really need to provide, and I don't fully understand how it's being calculated other than the basic you slept long enough and you slept good enough, heart rate was low, heart rate variability was high, normal temperature. That means you should have a good day today. I just don't fully buy it, and this is just more of a con for me because after 3 years I really don't gain any insight from my readiness score. Sometimes it'll give me an awful readiness score, like in the 40s or 30s, and it's like, look, you're gonna have an awful day today. And I'm just not trying to live my life with that mindset of, oh, I didn't sleep great for one night and so therefore I'm gonna have an awful day. I just don't really buy into the score and how much insight it's given me over the last 3 years. I open the app every single morning, I look at it, okay, cool, but that's literally about it. I don't think about it any further throughout the rest of my day. So overall, as you can imagine, I love my ring. It's worth the money, it's worth the monthly membership for me and my lifestyle. I love data, I love gaining insight into how my body's doing, and I wear this thing 98% of the time. If I don't have it on, it's probably because I forgot the charger. I've learned so much about my body and have way more autonomy about my own unique trend and patterns over time. Obviously, the pros that I've had over the last 3 years are the cycle tracking, the sleep tracking, the stress management, and the easy to use app outweighs any cons that I've come across. It's super comfortable. I forget that I have it on. The most annoying part, as I've already said, is just remembering to charge it every week. Oura continues to include new or add new features to the app. If you found any of this information helpful, I would really appreciate if you subscribed to my channel. I would also love to know, do you have an Oura ring? What has your experience been with it? Do you love it as much as I do? Let me know down in the comments below, and if you've made it this far, as always, I really appreciate you watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye!